Now, before we go into the article, I think I should explain a couple things, how Steem works. Steem was a delegated proof-of-stake system. The founder, the coder was Dan Larimer. He was the founder of BitShares. And then after BitShares, he met Ned Scott. Ned Scott was the CEO of Steemit Inc., a corporation, right? Let's set this up here. Let's set up the story. Steemit Inc. was a corporation that Ned Scott and Dan Larimer were part of. And I think Ned was the CEO. I'm guessing that Dan was the CTO, something like that. So, and they're based in the U.S. They launched, and there was something called a ninja mine. A ninja mine was something that happened a lot in the old days of crypto, where when a blockchain was started, they didn't open it to the public right away, so that they got a bunch of the coins right in the beginning. That's called a ninja mine. So Steemit Inc. got a bunch of coins, and then they launched the ICO and sold coins to the public, and they did they launched Steemit, where we were allowed to earn coins. So, you know, people were pissed about the ninja mine from the beginning. It was always a sore subject among the Steem community. I never cared. You know, Steemit Inc., it was their business, it was their company, they owned the coins. They never abused them, they kind of just sat there. So it was never I'm an anarcho-capitalist, right? So I just sit back, and as long as people don't harm me, I'm not gonna get pissed off, I'm not gonna get involved. I'm more, you know, a Switzerland type of person. So even during this whole Steem Tron debacle, I never really expressed my opinion much, except on Facebook a couple times. I said a couple things, and I actually lost somebody that, you know, he's a pseudo friend now, but I had to block his ass on Facebook because he was being a dick. So, you know, hey, that's life. But it really sucked because, you know, we were on the Steem team and we helped this thing grow. I made my video with Jeff Berwick of the Dollar Vigilante in, I think it was January 2017. So it would have been like January 2017. And I predicted that Steem was going to turn around and the price was going to rocket. At the time, I think it was like 7 cents. And it sure did. It went all the way up to like $3.50 by the end of 2017. And a lot of people got very wealthy because of Steem. So I had a lot of feelings about Steem and the community and the people. They're like family to us. So when it fell apart, it really hurt our feelings. But this is my first time really coming out and talking about it, but I'm going to read the article and I'm going to add some tidbits to it while I'm reading it, my opinion, and hope you guys help you understand. I think this should be made into a movie. I think it's the most interesting thing that has happened in crypto in the last year, maybe in the last 2 years. The other big one was the Bitcoin Cash fork in 2017 of Bitcoin. I thought that was also a big drama that easily can be made into a movie. But this is the one that I was actually part of. All right. So, Steem vs. Tron: The Rebellion Against a Cryptocurrency Empire by Tim Copeland. Tron founder Justin Sun bought Steemit to expand his realm, but the ferocious backlash started an epic cryptocurrency war. Damn, can you imagine that opening sequence in a movie? I can. All right. One spring day 4 years ago, Dan Notestein, a self-made millionaire and coder, padded down the wooden stairs to the basement of his ranch home in Blacksburg, Virginia. He sat down across from 3 other devs who were working on a startup called Steemit. Notestein, who was a contract worker on the project, settled in for what he figured would be just another day. It turned out to be anything but. The devs were building what had been billed by its co-founders CEO Ned Scott and CTO Dan Larimer as a new kind of social media platform. Steemit was intended to be the first social network to reward its users with cryptocurrency when they upvoted a post. The big idea was that posting smart posting, honest posting was super valuable content to a community, hence Steem, which stood for Esteemed Author. It's a picture of Notestein's basement. Specifically, the men in Notestein's semi-finished basement were putting the final touches on a blockchain called Steem, and its tokens also called Steem, that would in turn gamify Steemit and create one big virtuous circle. The blockchain was supposed to launch in a week at the end of March. Today was only March 23rd, 2016. Imagine then the crazy wild surprise that swept through Notestein's basement when one developer saw that the blockchain had already gone live. The mainnet was up and running. The Genesis block had been verified. They were all angry about it, and it showed in different ways. One of the guys was so upset, I was concerned he was going to cry, Notestein later recalled. A week later, Notestein realized that Scott and Larimer had used the surprise launch to give themselves a head start to mine 80% of the supply of Steem tokens. This is the ninja mine. Typically, when a blockchain like this launches, everyone knows the launch date in advance, which levels the playing field and can ensure that the tokens are evenly distributed among investors, but that did not happen here. The pile of tokens would become known as the Ninja Mine Stake on account of the fact that it was mined covertly. It would become the Chekhov's gun in the story of Steem, foreshadowing a problem that would years later all but obliterate one of the most interesting and vital communities ever built on a blockchain. The stake would pit the Tron Foundation CEO Justin Sun, the P.T. Barnum of crypto, against an agri-activated network mob of thousands. Some $5 million would be seized, a lawsuit would be launched, and an anonymous hero would try and fail to save it all. Telling you, great movie, guys. The drama with Steem is probably the most important thing happening in crypto now. Ari Paul, CIO of Block Tower Capital. I have no idea who Ari is, but thank you, Ari, for your opinion. At the end of it all, Steem would be driven in two. The Steem Wars also raised disturbing questions about how blockchains should be governed, the role of whales with venal interest, and whether crypto exchanges who trade in the tokens affected have any right to get involved in these sorts of community disputes. This is the story of its Steem and its brutal fight for survival. What happened when this all went down is it really changed my opinion of DPoS. I thought delegated proof of stake could actually work, but once this went down, I had changed to delegated proof of shit because it destroyed my community. A secret sale and another bad beginning. Despite its awkward birth, Steemit quickly blossomed into a bustling, active community. More than 1 million people joined, with around 4,000 of them posting daily on everything from technical analysis to discussing Steam's most popular game, Splinterland's Steem Monsters. The blockchain grew in value too, reaching a peak market cap of $1.9 billion. And I was part of it. Splinterlands, I sold all my cards last year. I just tweeted to Agrod because he's doing, they're bringing dice to Splinterlands tomorrow, and I just tweeted him saying congratulations, but I sold all my cards last year. In the Web 3.0 world, where very few consumer-facing projects ever get traction, Steemit was a success story. In late 2019, Tron Foundation CEO Justin Sun, a young Chinese millionaire and outrageous marketer, best known for paying $4.6 million to dine with billionaire investor Warren Buffett, saw how valuable the burgeoning community would be to Tron, a cryptocurrency platform largely made up of gambling apps. He decided to buy Steemit with the hope of bringing the social network, its cryptocurrency, and community to its Tron blockchain ecosystem. The move seemed like a clever way to expand his growing crypto empire. That's Justin's son. Larimer was long gone by this point. Dan left before we left. I think the reason why that we stuck around so long is because Dan Larimer liked Annabelle and I. I don't think Ned really liked us very much, but hey, such is life. Larimer was long gone by this point, so Sun made a deal with Scott. He offered just shy of $8 million to buy the company and the Ninja Mine stake. According to sources with knowledge of the deal, Sun declined to be interviewed for this story, as did Larimer and Scott. Though the number of tokens had dwindled and the stake now represented 30% of the total token supply, it was easily enough to establish a massive voting share in Steem's on-chain government governance system. Sun had one condition, however. He said he would only pay 70% up front, with the balance due once the Steem token was transferred to the Tron blockchain. His plan was to have the Steem token keep its name but run on the Tron network instead. What happened next was a little like what occurs when Wall Street investors find out about a hostile takeover. When the deal was announced on February 14th, the price of Steem rose to 30 cents, doubling the value of Sun's newly acquired stash of 65 million Steem tokens, the Ninja Mind stake, to 19 million. It was an early big win for Sun. But Steem's community smelled a rat. It is clear that the intention to dissolve Steem, wrote community member Anthony Davis on Steemit. He argued that the community must revolt to prevent the Ninja Mind stake being used to facilitate a hostile takeover with the express intent to collapse our chain to be assimilated into the Tron blockchain. Okay, let's stop right there. This is not Minority Report, all right? This is my problem with the whole deal, and this is where I lost friends. If you remember in the movie Minority Report, they were putting people in prison for making decisions or committing crimes in the future. The machine would pop out a little ball from the three people that were in the pool, and they would tell you, oh, this person's going to commit a crime in 35 minutes at this location. Well, in the world I live in, you are innocent until proven guilty. We do not know what was going to happen with that Ninja Mind stake. What the witnesses did, in my mind, was a criminal act. They chose to block Justin Sun's 65 million coins and not give him the ability to use them. Like they were the ones who were protecting the Steem blockchain. Now looking back, I wonder if they would have not done it. They could have still gone and done Hive. They could have still gone and started their new blockchain, and they didn't have to deal with Justin. They could have forked it that day and gone a different route. They didn't ask the community, delegated proof of stake. These group of people made a decision without our input, and they went and they forked the chain and they started a Hive, which I have no problem with. That was a great move by them. But they made a decision on that day to block Justin Sun's coins, a perfectly legal deal that he made with Ned Scott, the owner of Steemit Inc., the CEO of Steemit Inc. Perfectly legal deal. And they went and they blocked it. Let's read on, see what happened after that. Steemians were irked that the social network had been sold in secret. They were worried that Sun now had a huge supply of Steem tokens and were furious that he wanted to rip their token out and stick it on his own blockchain. Boo-hoo. This is business, folks. This is how business is done. Looking back, would you have done anything different? For anybody who, or any of the witnesses who made a decision on my behalf without asking me. There's only one guy out there, one of the witnesses that stood up. It was Steem Brothers and Exile, my friend Exile. He stood up and said, what you guys are doing is wrong. And then the rest of the people, they went ahead, said, yes, let's block this business deal from happening. And that's how we went down this dark road that we're about to see. In particular, Steem is governed by elected witnesses. My witness failed me. Who are voted in with Steem tokens via its blockchain-based governance system. The top 20 witnesses with the most votes oversee the blockchain and keep things running smoothly. They felt especially proprietary about the platform, like they owned it. It was theirs, and they wanted to keep it that way. It wasn't theirs. It was the community's. You were just voted. So they orchestrated a secret plan and made a massive first strike. The Steem rebellion begins. Imagine being Justin Sun and suddenly finding out that your 63 million tokens worth 13 million at the time had been frozen. That's what happened on February 23rd. The Steem community had quietly passed an upgrade that not only stopped Sun from voting with all of his coins, it prevented him from accessing them at all. Excuse me. Private business deal? Corporation being sold? Assets being sold? And a group of people decide that, you're not allowed. We're not selling this. We're not allowing this to happen. We're blocking your coins. That's exactly what happened. Here's the Steem. These are the Steem witnesses. Oh no, these are Justin's son's accounts that were frozen. These were the ones that carried all the 63 million coins. In the Steem, we call them coins, not tokens. Specifically, the witnesses were able to unilaterally lock out Sun after a simple majority vote passed 19-1. That one is my hero, Exile, and the Block Brothers. They stood up and said, what you guys are doing is wrong. They had orchestrated the plan in a private Slack group, ran a software upgrade on the blockchain, and froze the Tron Foundation CEO's funds. It was like shooting first and then talking with them, one Steem community member recently complained to Decrypt. The person who was actually a Sun supporter asked that his real name be withheld because he had received death threats. In public, at least, Sun appeared to take the coup in stride. He pecked out a letter to Steem's community the next day, asking the top witnesses to join a group call on March 6th with the intention of sorting it out. I'm not going to read Justin's post. I don't really care. He's an asshole too, in my opinion, the way he handled this. I feel it's important to show you guys I am here and ready to begin building with you, Sun wrote amiably. I am hoping to hear from many Steem witnesses' voices to learn and understand how they think we can grow Steem together and how Steemit Inc. can communicate with the witnesses on a regular basis. Behind the scenes, however, Sun was working on a more cunning scheme. He had decided on a daring move that, if it succeeded, would seize control of the blockchain and rescue his riches. The Empire Strikes Back. The Tron CEO started lining up allies at some of Asia's biggest crypto exchanges. The exchanges held huge supplies of Steem coins on behalf of their traders, which Sun would need to reclaim the blockchain. He could use these cryptocurrency coins to vote for his own witnesses instead of the community-run ones. He reached out to Huobi's operations team via WeChat. According to Huobi Vice President Sierra Sun, along with crypto exchanges Binance and his own exchange Poloniex, Sierra Sun said he warned Huobi that the network was under attack, that funds had been frozen, and there was a backdoor in the code that let the attackers freeze anyone's funds. So he lied. He lied to get what he wanted. He's wrong too. You get slapped, you slap back. Make decisions that aren't right under duress, in my opinion. Sun asked Huobi to use its Steem tokens to take over the network so he could pass a crucial upgrade to keep it safe. Sierra said that he didn't mention that the funds involved were his own. Shady as shit. There was, however, one tricky aspect. Steem tokens must be turned into Steem power to vote for witnesses, a process that takes seconds to do and 13 weeks to unwind. As a result, the exchanges wouldn't get their tokens back for months. Sun offered to try to make the redemption process quicker. So what he did is I believe what it was is that he wanted to change the power down time. It's like when you unstake your coins, it was 13 weeks. And he wanted to change the power down time to like 2 days or something like that. I don't know if it ever happened. I haven't powered down any Steem in a while. But I think that's what he wanted to do to fix this. On March 2nd, they carried out the plan. Sun used the exchange's Steem tokens to rig the voting system, take control of the blockchain, and pass an upgrade freeing his money, putting the full power of the Ninja Mind stake back in his hands. He then lashed out. Steem has successfully defeated the hackers and all funds are super safu, he tweeted, adding Steem Network and Steemit community is SIC. Now stronger than ever. We united and solved the difficulties. They didn't solve shit. That was his tweet. Such actions are against every aspect of the core value of humanity and decentralization and sanctity of private property. The only part I agree, sanctity of private property. That's where this all unraveled. We needed to act immediately to safeguard the Steem blockchain and ecosystem when we still had the chance, he added. But he remains somewhat optimistic, posting on Steemit, this will be nothing but an exciting future. Yeah, right. Anger, fury, and retribution. Later that same day in Baja, Mexico, Steem community member Dan Hensley, an energetic 6'3" millionaire with a slicked black dark hair, woke up in his seafront house and saw the news on his phone. Hensley was not a witness, but owned millions of Steem tokens and was hugely influential in the community. He was shocked to see Sun had taken control of the blockchain and thought, this is crazy. This is illegal. What is Sun doing? What is Sun doing? He later told Decrypt. What infuriated him was that his own tokens were being used against him. His tokens, thought to be held securely on Binance, were being used to vote him out. They ended up using my Steem power, almost 1 million, and locked it up for weeks, he recalled. I would be pissed too, Dan. But I had mine staked. Like a lot, how we use Steem, put in Steem power. Other members of the community were similarly flabbergasted. No one thought in a million years that this would ever happen, that Binance would lock up its Steem for 13 weeks, said Matt Rosen, co-founder of Steem's most popular app, Splinterlands. The next day, Hensley sat down at his desk overlooking the Pacific Ocean and fired up his gaming computer for a Zoom call. The chat with Sun, his representative Roy Liu, and members of the Steem community had been organized to help repair relations among them. You can imagine the amount of heat, anger, how pissed off everybody was. I took it in stride. I wasn't going to get emotional about it. I didn't have millions like Dan did. What happened to Dan was fucked up. It was during this discussion when Liu revealed that contractually, Sun was free to do what he wanted with a NinjaMine stake. There was nothing in the contract that said otherwise. The community argued he had been misled and the money was for building out Steemit. Sun chimed in. He explained that he saw Steemit as a venture capital investment. Hey, I agree. He wanted to invest in the project for the long term, grow the value of his tokens, and sell them at a profit. Hey, I agree. He told the community, I'm not interested in power at all. I just want to make money. Hey, I agree. Hensley appreciated the honesty, but was dismayed by Sun's approach. After all, you can't just buy a community. No. I see it happen all the time in this world, in social media and other places. No one complained when Facebook bought Instagram. Just saying. No one complained when they bought WhatsApp. Just saying. But you can buy votes, fighting tooth and nail for our blockchain. While negotiations were underway, Sun and the community wrestled over the Steem blockchain. The aim of the game was to control all the top 20 witnesses, those with the most votes, because together they have full control over the blockchain. Sun had freed the NinjaMine stake and was now using it to vote for his 20 witnesses. He worked his ass off to get rid of the old witnesses and bring in new witnesses so that he can get what he wanted done. Another shady move there, Justin. In return, Hensley rallied the troops. He marched around his room speaking to community member Asidio in his wireless headphones. They concocted a plan to mobilize Steem whales who had millions of tokens and get them to vote. He got on his computer and sent messages on Twitter, Discord, Steemit, even on the blockchain to anyone sympathetic to the cause. The plan, get everyone voting for a few designated witnesses who are hostile to the Justin Sun Tron takeover. And they did. On March 4th, there was a breakthrough when Splinterlands Rosen, a longtime witness, broke into the top 20. It nearly moved him to tears. Soon, 6 more anti-Sun witnesses broke through. Sorry, my nose. I saw people who hated each other. They banded together. It was like an alien invasion. It was really amazing, Hensley said. Yeah, most of them are assholes. I met a lot of them over the years. Do you like Justin Sun, or you just want to fuck him? Tron CEO, Justin Sun. In a March 5th post on Steemit, Sun offered to vote for other witnesses so he could try to give back control over the blockchain to any community members that were on his side. He outlined 11 conditions for any that wanted his vote, but he was irascible. His questions read like complaints directed at the Steem witnesses who were defying him. One of his questions, do you like Justin Sun or you just want to fuck him? On March 7th, Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao announced that his exchange would start powering down its funds. Should never have powered them up to begin with. Criminal. Weakening Sun's grip on the blockchain. There was a glimpse of hope. Hensley tweeted, I think we're going to pull this off, Steemians. The next day, the community managed to get 10 of their witnesses in the top 20, splitting the vote evenly with Sun. On March 9th, Hensley tweeted, update, we lost 2 spots last night. We're down to 8 now. Each day we have hit an all-time high in voting for our number 1 witness, approaching the 94 million Steem power now. No one said this will be easy, but we won't surrender and we're prepared for glory. During the voting war, Hensley spent 400 grand buying Steem tokens to boost the community's voting power, but each time he did, it would significantly bump the cryptocurrency's price, making it more expensive to buy. On a call, Steemit's managing director, Elizabeth Powell, told him that Sun was buying 300,000 Steem tokens, $60,000 worth, a day in response to keep his witnesses at the top. This is absolutely crazy, folks. Here's the witnesses. The green ones were the original community ones, but these red ones were Justin Sun's. And most of them were witnesses that we had never heard of before. We called them his sock puppets. On March 15th, Sun voted a newly created witness into the top 20 votes. The Steem witness tweeted that he had been a witness for 4 years and had 11,000 Steemians voting for him, while this new witness had just 29. At the end of the day, it was a stalemate again. But Sun had one final trick up his sleeve. On March 16th, he received a huge supply of 2.6 million Steem tokens, $520,000 worth from Binance. He used them to increase the votes for his top witnesses and take control of the whole network. It was impossible to buy 4 million Steem at that time, said Hensley. That's when we felt like it was a losing blow. But there was another way out, escaping to a new blockchain. On March 20th, Notestein was back in his ranch home, tapping away in his semi-basement. Next to him were 2 developers coding the future of social media. Only this time, they were his own developers, and they weren't building Steem, they were cloning it. The nearly identical blockchain was called Hive, and it would be used to build the social network that the community had always wanted. It would be a censorship-free, with embedded cryptocurrency and everything that made them love Steemit. In my opinion, everything that I also hated. But there will be no Ninja Mind stake, no company controlling it, and anyone who voted for Sun's witnesses, largely Steemit's Korean community, will get no tokens. It was a fresh start. So the Korean community got left out. And unlike the surprisingly premature launch of Steem, the developers were on hand to celebrate when the Hive blockchain, which had cost Notestein $500,000 to build, went live as scheduled at 10 a.m. Today, a dedicated centralized community launched the Hive network in a response to a central attack. I have no idea where token prices will go, but I'm so proud of those who put in the work to make this happen, tweeted former Steem witness Luke Stokes. Yeah, he was my witness. Screw you, Luke. When the members of the Korean community saw the code, they realized that many of them had been left out. We had less than 10 million Hive tokens that were distributed to the Korean community, and 4 million tokens erased from users who had voted for at least 2 witnesses from Tron. An anonymous witness who was part of the Korean community later told Decrypt. But the Steem community argued it was a blockchain, and they were free to give cryptocurrency out selectively. I totally agree. You could do whatever you want. I got no problem with what they did. You know, forking off and going and starting your own, great idea. Do it. It's the difference between you walk into a bank and you give out $100 bills to half the people there. That's perfectly legal. It's not legal to walk into a bank and take $100 from the other half of the people there, said Andrew Hamilton, a lawyer and community member. There was backlash on Steemit too. The social network largely run by Tron developers now, since most Steemit team members had quit, changed the terms and conditions to forbid mention of any other network. The day after Hive launched, Sun downvoted a single post about Hive by so much that it showed as a $370 downvote. Normally, downvotes come to around $1, hiding it from view. Subsequently, any post about Hive was hidden from the site. Thing is, Justin had no clue of how to run Hive. Just Sun had no clue how to run Steemit. He didn't know what he was buying. It was pretty much everything Steem had stood for was destroyed overnight. It was supposed to be censorship resistant, and the company behind it was actively censoring, said the Marky Mark, a Steemit stalwart with 25,930 posts to his name. If you go to my feed, it's empty. Everything I've worked for and done over the last 3 years has been erased. That was screwed up. Now that the Hive was built, some of those left behind in the Steem blockchain found themselves in a world of hurt. Hey! While they received new Hive tokens when it was launched, they were still in possession of their old Steem coins. Most community members had already started powering down their tokens, getting a 13th of them back each week and selling them for Hive tokens. But during this process, their remaining funds were still at risk. We were powering down. We had started powering down long before that. So, we were kind of fed up with Steem. It wasn't really going anywhere. So I think that was we were close to our bottom at that point with the amount of coins that we had. So we didn't get a lot on Hive either, but it was okay. We wanted to see both succeed. I don't want to see anything go to zero. I'm crypto agnostic, as I tell people. So I want to see Steem succeed, and I want to see Hive succeed. It's just how I am. On April 4th, the Steem witnesses representing Sun's votes froze 8 accounts holding 3.2 million Steem, including Notesteins. 5 of the witnesses had never made a single post on Steem. This is the one thing. There was too many. I can't say one thing. There was so many things that Justin's son did that absolutely pissed me off. And this is one of them. My friend Roland, who was one of the witnesses, I think Roland made a very bad decision, but Roland got his coins locked out. When they forked, the guys, if they wanted to, they get all their money back, right? Because they got the same amount of coins, I believe, as they had on Steemit, and the Hive token's actually worth more than what Steem is. So I think they're, as far as money is concerned, they have the same amount that was in their Steemit account. So they should be safe. But people like Dan, who had his sitting on an exchange, what can he do? He just had to keep his Steem. But it lit a fire under Hive. In the weeks that followed, Hive grew 3 times bigger than Steem, reaching a market cap of $234 million. That was a false pump. I don't know where that came from. I was even telling people on Twitter, were like, "Oh, buy Hive. It's going to $1." And it almost did. I think it went to 90 cents at the time. And they're like, "Buy Hive. Oh, my God." I'm not stupid, motherfuckers. I'm not buying Hive. Not when it's no way. So I even got called a couple names on Twitter. I wish I should have had the tweets pulled up. I'm sorry. But, people in the Hive community are pretty not happy with Randy because I was saying, you guys are crazy. Why are you buying this coin? How could it be worth so much? Because they were pumping it. Witness the rise of crypto anarchy. The most impressive part of the story is not the proof of stake power play by Sun. It's that those who dissented exited the network they considered compromised and created one that was even more valuable, tweeted CASA CTO Jameson Lopp. Crime and punishment. On 19th of May, the current Steem witnesses, still voted in by Justin's son, who continued to deny that he was playing a role, announced further retribution. The next upgrade would not just freeze accounts, but it would forcibly take cryptocurrency out of people's accounts for supposed criminal activity. Some 23 million Steem tokens worth $5 million and belonging to 65 accounts were on the chopping block. Really? Hensley was furious and reached out to some of the Korean witnesses whom he had met before, asking them how they could do this to him. Some of them later dropped out before the upgrade happened. By the time it went through, Hensley said he could only recognize 2 of the witnesses as real people. The others were likely fake. Hensley stayed up all night and stared at the clock as the hour hand moved to 7 a.m. He checked his Steem wallet. Then, just like that, his cryptocurrency was gone. He said he felt embarrassed because he was unable to stop his money from being taken in full view of the rest of the world. They didn't just steal my steak. I spent over $1 million on. They stole my time, my blood, my sweat, and tears, he said. Then he did a double take. The tokens had moved. Not once, but twice. They were no longer sitting in the designated wallet, but had been sent to a crypto exchange, Bittrex, with a message that the funds should be returned to their rightful owners. The money was saved. He tweeted, "Holy shit, did someone just pull the most gangster white hat hack ever?" The anonymous benefactor posted a picture of himself as the fictional outlaw Robin Hood. When someone commented asking what character would be used to play him if this was a movie, he replied, "I'd expect no less than Rami Malek, aka Elliot from Mr. Robot," referring to the cybersecurity engineer and vigilante hacker in the 2015 TV series. Robin Hood also sent another transaction to Sun's own Steemit wallet with a message in Korean that said, "Stealing is bad." But Robin Hood didn't quite save the day. Bittrex refused to hand the funds back to their original owners, putting them under review. Screw you, Bittrex. On June 16th, Notestein, Hensley, and other witnesses filed a breach of bailment lawsuit, where property had been passed to a third person against the exchange in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Virginia. They hoped to get their funds returned, but it was a long shot. Sorry. What Bittrex did was bullshit. Should have returned the money to the accounts. See, when you do a transaction on Steemit or on the Steem blockchain, you know where that transaction came from. It says the account name. Mine is @Hilarski. Anybody can send me tokens, and then they could put a memo in it. And the memo could say a sentence. It could say whatever you want. But they knew exactly where those coins came from. They should have been turned around and sent back. When the all clear was given, they should have sent the coins back to the rightful account owners. On July 8th, Notestein was yet again in his basement. A whirring fan threatened to blow an empty citrus drops can off his desk. He had spent the last 2 days writing 3,000 words on the future of Hive, and it was time to publish it. And see how the community responded. My vision is to make Hive the most attractive platform for the development and innovative decentralized applications, he wrote before diving into the technical details. It wasn't just a pipe dream. Notestein had the technical expertise, a willing community, and no obstacles in his way. The bomb that was the Ninja Mine stake had exploded, causing a difficult and expensive fallout and obliterating a once thriving community, but his dream for his social network was still very much alive. All right, so I want to tell everyone I do work with Library, LBRY, so I love Library. I think they do a better job than Steemit or Hive for true decentralization. So that's my opinion. If you're using Library and you want to be truly decentralized, please use the app. Download it to your computer so that you can run the torrents and keep it decentralized. So I know people are going to talk, that's something, there's people out there that know that we're working with Library. We run the library.lat community it's the Spanish-speaking community for Library. And I'm sure if somebody really wanted to be pissed off and talk smack to me, they're going to say, "Oh, Randy, you made this video because, you want to undermine Hive or Steem and all that kind of stuff." And I don't want to undermine shit. I'm a crypto agnostic, guys. I want to see, all the boats rise. Let's all be successful. I'm still posting on the Steem blockchain. I'm still posting on Hive. Some of you guys might not like what I said here. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. Go ahead and downvote me. I'm used to it. A lot of the dicks that were on Steemit who were downvoting people for dumb reasons are now over on Hive, so just move one trash from one spot to move the trash from one area to another area, as far as I'm concerned. So let's go forward. This was a great story, and I'm hoping that it gets made into a movie one day. The part that upsets me the most is that it all could have been avoided if the witnesses would have made a better choice. Legally, I think that blocking the 65 million coins was a bad decision. It's just like the movie Minority Report. How they did not know what Justin was going to do with those coins. Yeah, maybe he was going to assimilate Steem into the Tron community, Tron Foundation, or whatever. Whatever, man. It was a private business deal. The community was purchased. The Ninja stake was purchased. And if that would have just gone the way it was supposed to, the Steem witnesses may have lost their power, but they wouldn't have lost any money. Right? But they still could have forked, and they could have made Hive and gone on their merry way with Hive, and then they still would have had all their money with Steem. So, my opinion, the one place where everything snapped and broke was when the witnesses, except for Exile, my boy Exile, the witnesses voted to block Justin's coins. So that's where all, as the snowball started rolling down the hill and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until people were wrecked. So that's my opinion about the whole Steem versus Tron debacle. I am going to post this to YouTube. I'm sure I'm going to take a lot of shit for it, guys, because my wife and I were big in the Steem community. We weren't. Once Dan left and the community guy, I can't remember his name. Oh, Andrew Levine. I think Andrew was the one that undermined us, who didn't like us very much. That's the guy. It was funny because I remember Ned Scott wrote me an email before he hired Andrew Levine. He said, "Randy, what do you think of Andrew?" I could probably pull up the email. I said, "Hey, he seems like a nice kid. Great for the community. You should hire him." I think within 7 or 8 months, he was probably the guy that said, "Hey, we don't need Randy and Annabelle anymore." So, screw you, Andrew. So, great things going forward with crypto. It was a weird day at crypto. Bitcoin was down, Ethereum was down, Hex is down. Everything was beat up. So let's hope that it turns around and starts going back up. Please follow me on Twitter. Please follow me on YouTube. It's easy to find Randy Hilarski. Give me a follow here on DLive. I want to thank everyone that was watching. Hey, I got to a new all-time high tonight. I think I had 8 people at one time. That was pretty cool. I'm going to distribute the treasure chest right now, so you guys can get your coins. And I want to thank everyone. I'm going to continue doing these live streams Monday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. When the clocks change in the U.S., crazy Americans, it'll be switching to Eastern Standard Time. But right now, it's going to be Central Standard Time. So I appreciate it. If you guys have subjects you want me to talk about, I'll look into it. I'm not against talking about other coins. Van Live Bear, congratulations, brother. Blue Boom, congratulations, you guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and enjoy those lemons.